Hi, my name is Katie Becker, and for the Week 10 video, we had to read two articles. The first article was called Activism or Slacktivism: The Potential and Pitfalls of Social Media and Contemporary Student Activism. So, first to define slacktivism, it is the political activities that have no impact on real life political outcomes, but only serve to increase the feel good factor of the participants after they do the deed. So, this theoretical article goes into the conceptualizations of what constitutes student activism versus slacktivism in a digital age, since a lot of stuff is digitally or online nowadays. So, to distinguish between activism and slacktivism, there are 10 premises that they came up with regarding activism, and it was built by Luke's Three Dimensions of Power. It highlighted the history of college student activism, and it offered the definitions and literature background of slacktivism. So, student activism has been central to increasing campus-based diversity, and it has also led to an increase. Well, the student activism is usually focused toward democracy on campus. And so slacktivism has been divided into 5 subcategories: collectivism, sympathy, political charity, and the terms tends to be pejorative. There we go. So the reason why activism and slacktivism is hard to distinguish against, because each is a descriptor of the behavior where the same individual can sometimes engage in a project, and slacktivism can sometimes lead to a subsequent activism. So in conclusion, the recent rise in contemporary student activism in a digital age had opened new possibilities for promoting social justice on campus and beyond. Campus activism is ripe with potential for creating democratic space and engagement. As I said, that was the most popular thing that college students engage with activism. However, not all forms of engagement are equally effective, because some is simply made for people who delude themselves into thinking that they're being a part of social change when they're actually not. So that's where the blurry line comes in between collectivism and activism. The second article that we read was called The Digital Activism Gap: How Class and Cost Shape Online Collective Action. This article was quite lengthy, so I'm going to give the broad summary and try to keep it short, the overview of it. So as political movements continue to move online, because this day is mostly based on technology, this variation in cost and power may exacerbate inequality within and between social movements. And so the digital activism gap may make collective action more difficult for groups with fewer resources and more working class members. So they suggest that low cost to digital activism broaden participations and challenges conventional collective actions theories. And so they do various studies, and in the article they list they have data and numerical values that explain the digital activism gap, but it ultimately takes a field level approach to incorporate all groups involved in one statewide political issue, therefore including people from different social classes, to show deep digital activism inequalities between working class and middle upper class due to the organizational resources, along with individual disparities in access, skills, and empowerment in time. So these factors that I just listed create high costs of online participation for working class groups. So rather than reducing the cost, equalizing online participation, substantial costs contribute to digital activism inequality. So at the end of the article, they list ways that you could potentially lessen the gap between digital activism between different classes, and this states that future research should go beyond data garnered just on the internet, particularly from online high-profile mobilizations, and this research would benefit from more precise modeling of how individual class factors and class relations affect internet use with digital activism. I thought this article, I like the activism or slacktivism article the most, because I think nowadays people don't really give all the effort they have, and they may think that they're being an activist, but in reality they're not going like the full lengths to actually be considered an activist. And in this article's terms, they would be considered a slacktivist. So I just thought that term, I'd never heard the term slacktivism before, so I thought hearing that term was very interesting, and hearing the person's like point of view on how there's such a blurry line between the two, I thought that was on point. Thank you.